Welcome to my fall garden, everyone. My green bean trellises have been performing so great all summer long. They've been providing beans all summer long. So this is definitely a success for this growing season and something I will do again next year. I'll turn around and show you the front first. So on either side of the door, I have these grow bags, and I did some bush beans in them. Bush beans weren't too successful in these grow bags for some reason, and it seemed like after a little while some of them did better. They just weren't worth it, so I'm going to take those out here and probably sow another round of radishes, maybe some carrots. I do have this Jack-B little pumpkin here. I'm hoping I get a couple more fruits off of this plant. In the corner here I have my parsley. No, is it parsley? Yeah. I have my parsley down here. This is a lavender that I cut back, and there are a couple other gomphrenias that I've left in case they want to go ahead and give me some blooms for the fall. This holy basil is still doing beautifully. It smells so good. Down the side of the cutting garden, I have all these daikon radishes to break up the clay soil. I really don't know if I'm supposed to thin them, so I'm going to go ahead and look that up. It probably really doesn't matter. No matter what, it's going to break up the soil. Anyway, I have a holly and a persimmon right there. These 4 grow bags right here are struggling cucumbers. I'm going to go ahead and probably get some kale into these 4 grow bags, and then in the spring I will continue with the daikon radishes to the back there. Okay, and then down the back length of the cutting garden are more of the daikon radishes. Also, I planted some garden peas, and it looks like my Blue Lake pole beans are just about to start producing. I have some beautiful goldenrod here. On the back side of the fence, or the other side of the fence, is kind of a native plant hedgerow. And in case you're wondering, goldenrod does not make you sneeze. The yellow flower that makes you sneeze is called ragweed. Goldenrod is a beautiful native perennial that the bees and the pollinators just absolutely need for nutrition at the end of the growing season. Here's the Blue Lake pole beans are starting to produce. I'm really excited about those. I was given the seeds for those. This is just some Virgin's Bower. It is native Virginia clematis that I need to plant out. I don't know why it's there. Here I have some gourds. Looks like I have 2 fruits so far. Those are going to be used for bird houses. Here's the other one. And then I have an acorn squash. Only got 1. That's okay. My Jerusalem artichokes are starting to bloom. Let me show you. These Jerusalem artichokes, if you remember, have runner beans running up them, and we have scarlet runner bean and Kentucky Wonder. So to the right of the Jerusalem artichokes, it looks like I need to push this guy back a little bit, maybe tie him to the fence so he's not such in the way. So again, tons and tons of daikon radishes. Do you think I overseeded? And then here are the late tomatoes that I put in. And these are the ones that I put in directly into the ground. I think it was just a really bad time of year to do that, because it was just the hottest, and well, I don't know. So they're not really doing much, but I do have some gherkins on the other side of the fence. So these tomatoes are the indeterminate. They're not really doing much. Over here I have the determinate. These were also put in the ground really late, and they are definitely starting to get their fruit now. So I'm looking forward to that. In this corner bed right here, I have the beets that I want to harvest the greens from. And it looks like I'm having a problem all over the place with squirrels. They're getting into everything. I believe these are gherkins. I just didn't do a good job of labeling. I think they are. Okay, so we're back to the front, and I will take you over here to my left side 4x8 bed to show you how all those starts are growing. Actually, here's a tomato, but those are looking good. So anyway, I have in here the Azure Star Kohlrabi, and then the Cossack Kohlrabi. In front of the kohlrabi here, I almost forgot, I have golden beets and then the red beets on the far end. So things are definitely sprucing up here and taking hold in the garden bed. Then behind the kohlrabi, I have the Swiss chard. This is the Bright Lights. I have more of it on this side. And then next to that, I have the Madeleine onions here. And then this last 2-foot section, oh my gosh, these stupid squirrels, ruining everything. This is lettuce, cilantro, and then over there I just seeded some muscalin, if I'm saying that correctly. The back bed is kale, so I have the red Russian kale and then the dino kale behind it. You may notice some other plants in the beds. I have turtle head here that I've been growing from seed for the past couple years. I really need to transplant it. I have a couple dahlias that I need to dig out the tubers once we get the first frost. And then I've kept this zinnia only because I absolutely love the color. Right here I have my trees that I haven't planted out yet. So I still have, let's see, 2 red mulberries and 2 oaks, and then we also already talked about the persimmon and the American holly. In the middle of the back bed is my broccoli. So I have rapini and I have the purple sprouting broccoli. Still just little starts, but they've come a long way since I planted them out. And then finally on the far side, let me see if I can go in this direction. This is a bed full of cauliflower. So this is the Snowball Y cauliflower. It looks like the squirrels got to some of them, so I put some seeds in the ground and hopefully those will take. And then turning around here to take a look at this, the other 4x8 front bed. I have leeks. I don't think they're going to do anything. I was really just planting them for the pollinators, but intermixed in here should be lettuce. I don't see, or that I seeded, and I don't see any. Well, actually here's one, but there should be a lot more. I seeded some mescaline or muscalin here in this section right here. It doesn't look like it's doing much, so I might use those grow bags that I'm ripping the beans out of for lettuce. This basil is lemon basil, and I'm just obsessed with the smell, so I couldn't rip it out. So it's staying until it dies. Let's see, so I have the onions. What is it? What onions are these? Oh yeah, red rock onions here. This is Ford Hook chard, and then I planted a couple of those daikon radishes, but the ones from Botanical Interests. This section of the bed right here are rutabagas. I have rutabagas, a purple top, and then these are rutabagas. I think this is Laurentia from Haas. Yeah. And I have to thin those out. I need to do that tomorrow, actually. And then the front is all bunching onions. So things are going well here in the fall garden, with the exception of the squirrels. Okay, so now I am going to take you to my deer resistant part of the garden. Look at these. This is Hypericum prolificum. Oh my gosh, look at the pollinator, tiny pollinator. For some reason, it's putting on a second flush of blooms, which is really cool. And it's just over here that it's doing that. I have an experiment that I'm gonna do with the with this Hypericum prolificum or Shrubby St. John's wort here in a couple weeks, or maybe next week. Okay, so here is the deer resistant veg patch. And so it's transitioning, and I have nasturtiums right here in this bare spot. This is where I planted the crocus. Behind that, I put in, right here today, actually, I put in 5 little blue stems. I'm trying to clump them up into one big clump. That's why I planted them so close together. And I was hoping that by doing that as well, then it would really help them to stand up straight. But look at how pretty. I don't know if you can see how pretty the foliage is on the camera, but it just has like tinges of orange and red. So yeah, the crocuses, the saffron crocuses are here. This is a bunch of marjoram. Right here, this more marjoram. I don't even know how to use marjoram, and I have so much of it. I got it for the pollinators, but at this point, I need to figure out how to use it. So this is where I walk through, my path to walk through, and then down the side of this veg patch, I had my cucumbers here, and now I have planted in some daikon radishes. And so next year I might do tomatoes or cucumbers again, but they're definitely going to go in the ground instead of in grow bags. And I also have spaced out larger little blue stem plants all the way down. So maybe every couple feet there's a little blue stem. This is just my leftover pots from the summer. So of course marjoram, I have marjoram everywhere, and then some basils, and these little, what are they called? Marigolds. They smell so good. They smell like lemon and tangerine. I absolutely love them this year because the smell was great. They're just beautiful. So definitely something I'd like to have again. Back here in this grow bag is a zucchini. It's a Lebanese zucchini. I ordered some seed after watching Jacques in the garden, and he was just raving about these types of zucchini. So I was hoping to get some before the season was over. I don't know if that's going to happen, but I have seeds for next year. Behind this frame, there is Joe pieweed. I'm not sure if I'm going to keep the Joe pieweed there next year because I'm probably going to want to do vegetables there, but I might keep some of it just for to bring the pollinators, just not so thick. And then this is also lined with Carex blanda, which is a sedge. Okay, so then this is my path. And then I can't plant anything here because there's something with the septic there. So first I'll talk about my frame here, and I'll turn around. So almost all these plants are my full sun native plants. So, and then anything I have outside of the frame are things that I really want to get taken care of before the season is over. So right here I have a bunch of Hypericum prolificum, and I want to use these to line the native plant hedgerow on the other side of my yard, because I'm finding that I really need to do something to make it look a little more formal. Here are some Virginia strawberries. I planted those out today. I'm going to put this flat away and see what I can get next year, because I'm sure there'll be some more germinating. Here are some of the natives that I sowed with you. So this is the side oats grandma. This is the tall bellflower. Over here is the purple coneflower, and I have those over there because I'm going to fill this flat that already has purple coneflower with those seedlings. I have some Rudbeckia triloba, and then artichokes, and then Rudbeckia Indian Summer. So all this stuff needs something done with it. Everything in here though, in this frame, this is ready for the fall. I'll probably close this frame when the leaves start coming down pretty hard, but I have all sorts of really cool natives in here. And in the back I have short tooth mountain mint, and then I have another mountain mint. Oh boy, oh, hoary mountain mint. Then I have fire pink and more fire pink. Now these may or may not be fire pink. It seems like I have a lot of seeds from grape blue lobelia and cardinal flower that has gotten into my soil, so I don't know, we'll see. I'm hoping it's fire pink though, because it's one of my favorites. In the back there I have orange coneflower, and then this is giant hyssop, and this one is, I think this is the anise. Yeah, anise hyssop here. This is just a random little tray. I'm supposed to have prairie sundrops, purple-headed sneezeweed, slender mountain mint. I don't know. It didn't do so well. I noticed that my flats that aren't very deep, the natives don't do that well with them. In the back there, those two. So the back one has a question mark. I am almost positive that that's lanceleaf coreopsis, and then so is this as well. In front of the lanceleaf coreopsis, we have more purple coneflower. I think I'm going to be selling purple coneflower at a spring plant sale next spring. And then just I have some random plants that I didn't get around to dealing with. So purple lovegrass, early sunflower, and some Jerusalem artichoke. Here is sneezeweed, and then behind the sneezeweed I have wild indigo. I don't know if that's small wild indigo, yellow, blue, tall. I'm not really sure because I'm not good at labeling. Behind that is a flat of switchgrass and side oats grandma. I have a couple more big blue stems in the back, Siberian iris that I grew from seed. This right here is I don't know, it's either little blue stem or big blue stem. And then I have an oak tree that I need to plant out in the woods. Right here we have a red bud, and I actually dug this up and potted it up for my friend Trisha. And there are the girls. They're gonna go get their nails done. Bye! Here I have all my dahlias that were on the side of the cutting garden, and they're just here until we get to the frost. Once we get to the frost, I am going to put them on the side, like over there around the side of this shed, and then I'm going to mulch them pretty deeply. I don't know what I'm going to do with the dahlias next year. I might just put them in my, oh my gosh, my daughter, oh my gosh, she doesn't know how to drive. Oh. Anyway, I think I'm just going to maybe incorporate them into some of my native plant beds, and if they live, great. If they don't, you know, it is what it is. They're just, to me, a lot of work compared to my native plants, and then dealing with all the vegetables and stuff and all that I want to do. I'm not sure that they're worth it, but I have some really cool ones, so you know, we'll see what happens. And then I have 2 flats right there of Virginia bluebells, nothing to see because they're dormant Virginia bluebells. They're spring ephemeral, and I have them out here because I am going to interplant them all along the border of this veg patch. The deer don't eat the Virginia bluebells, so I'm just going to have them grow in there and multiply. Here's my tumbler, which actually, I mean, it was jam-packed full of stuff, and then I just left it. And now, I don't know if you can see, yep, pure compost in there. So I'm going to transfer all of one side into the other and then start using the unused side. I could have used this a long time ago, but I didn't. This is the native plant hedgerow from the other view, like I showed it to you on the other side of that fence looking this way. So in here we have winter berries and all sorts of native perennials and asters and Virginia strawberry and penstemon, just so many things, but I'll do a tour of that another time. Okay, and then for what I did today, and I always say this because, you know, of the way I garden versus some of the other gardeners on YouTube, is that it's not, you're not going to see like immediate gratification. It's going to take a season or so because I grow most of my stuff from seed or I propagate it. So what I did here in this area, let me back up and show you the area. Okay, so this is my shed. And I did a planting over here and a planting over here. It took me forever today because I really wanted it to be able to show you guys in this video. And I had to take out a bunch of their native brambles over here, but they come over and into this section and then they get stuck on my clothes and it hurts and it's not fun. So anyway, I like to just leave those to the native plant hedgerow on the other side. So the 2 areas I planted up are on either side of the door of my shed, and starting over on this side, this foundation plant right here is a group of 3 big blue stem. So they're going to get really tall, and I kind of grouped them together so that they would be one big clump. And then I have a Hypericum prolificum, and within this little bed I planted some of my little native strawberries, Virginia strawberries. I think there's about 5 of them in here. This is a yucca that I got from a garden friend, so the native straight species, and I'm really excited about this section. Oh, let's see. The big blue stem leaves are so beautiful. Again, I don't think that the camera's going to do it justice, but they're turning all their different shades of red and orange. So that's this side. And just real quick, I think I heard a deer behind me. Okay. In here, look at this native aster, little pollinator on this one. This is aromatic aster. I'm kind of obsessed with asters these days, and you'll hear more about that when I talk to you about my bee lawn. So I did almost the exact same thing on this side, and we have Hypericum prolificum and then a bunch of Virginia strawberries. I actually have more Virginia strawberries here than the other side because I already had some on the other side. And then here's the big blue stem plants. They're just little babies so far. I mean, they're 2 years old, but it takes a while for them to establish. And I don't know if you can see it back there. I don't want to step on any of these strawberries. That is a rattlesnake master. Those are the brambles that I cut back. What I did as well here this morning is I have Rudbeckia triloba, and it grows really, really tall. So, and this area actually gets sun even though it looks like it's like shady. So I planted 3 of them. Let's see, there And where's the last one? 1, 2. Uh-oh. Did the squirrels already get to it? Oh, there it is. Here. Okay. I actually just covered it with some leaves and stuff. I cut back some of the azaleas, even though this isn't the right time to cut back azaleas, but I needed to get some light in over here, and I'm just going to let those decompose there. So looking at this area, standing back a little bit, you're going to have that huge big blue stem there, and then the Hypericum prolificum here. The rattlesnake master will come up, and back here we'll have the Rudbeckia triloba coming up, and it will be up to at least right there, and have beautiful flowers for a really, really long time. This right here is one of my favorite Carex plants. It's Carex lyrida, and I think it's also, the common name is shallow sedge. It gets so huge. It's crazy. I love it. Oh, by the way, in case you're interested, I have native ginger growing naturally underneath this non-native azalea. Oh, something else that I forgot to mention is back there I also put 2 Virgin's Bower, the Virginia clematis. See, here's what I'm talking about these brambles, how they come out and they're so pokey. So this is just not where they need to be. Okay, so next to the shallow sedge, I have my imperial artichoke. May or may not live through our winter, we'll see. I have another clump of the little blue stem right here. This should get, you know, pretty high, like 3-4 feet high. That should be, you know, 3 feet high and like 4 feet wide. And this is all to keep, what I'm doing here along the border is all to keep the deer out. So like when I was talking about the Virginia bluebells, the deer won't eat it. Not that it'll keep them out, but I'll just be able to have some color there. Now, where I've flagged this rectangular area, this is where I planted all of the elephant garlic. First time to plant the elephant garlic this year, and really excited about it. Nothing has emerged yet. I don't know if it should have or not, so, you know, whatever. Next to the elephant garlic is my globe artichoke, another clump of little blue stem. I can't wait until these get big. It's just gonna be so beautiful. Right here is my Egyptian walking onions, or are my Egyptian walking onions. You can actually harvest those leaves as greens, or just wait for the onions. And back to more marjoram, and then the whole row here is all the saffron crocus. So now I'm going to take you to my deck where I have been working on small scale container gardening. Oh, look at these. The berries on my dwarf Winterberry. Now, these aren't a favorite of the bird. I think that you call them like a starvation plant. The birds won't want these berries until really, really late in the winter. They take a really long time to ripen, but then when they do, it's very late in the winter, and it gives very, I'm saying very a lot, late season food for the birds before spring. Here you can see my my rose milkweed has just been eaten down. I haven't seen any monarchs, but I did see the milkweed tussock moth, so a caterpillar, so maybe that's what's been in here. So we are up on my deck, and so far this is my fall vegetable container garden. Let me take this off right here. This is carrots, and you know, I should have looked this up. I didn't, but for some reason a lot of times you cover carrots with a board or something, so I just threw that on there for now. Here are my crimson giant radishes. I threw some strawberry spinach seed in here, but I don't think it's doing anything. In the back is the Ford Hook giant chard. Then we have the bok choy The squirrels were in here, so I had to replant some seeds over in that corner. This grow bag is Claytonia, and this is winter hardy from my understanding. And then we have the purple plum radish here. These are beets that I will harvest for their greens. This grow bag is my saffron crocus. It looks like I have a early starter there. Because this is new, I'm not sure if that's good or bad. Like good in that all the rest shouldn't be up yet, or bad in that all the rest should be up. Here are the Helios radishes from Haas. I'm really excited about these. They look super, super yellow. And then over here I have my watermelon radishes, and the squirrels were in here, and so I had to reseed over there. So this is what seed over there. So this is what the container garden is looking like now. So there is a lot of food there. I'm very excited about that. And then I also have grow bags over here that I haven't used yet. And then I will put lettuces and radishes in these for lettuces, radishes, yeah, and I think I'll probably save the 10-gallon grow bags for the kale. And then the final item I have on my deck as far as food goes is the garden peas. So I have garden peas growing in the ground at the back of the cutting garden, and then I did a grow bag of these. Oh, look, squirrel's been in here. Oh, this holy basil is still going strong. Oh, okay. Oh, you know what? I'm wondering if I can show you. I hope y'all can see this right here. Those are the berries of the devil's walking stick. And so when it's in bloom and in flower, it has beautiful tiny little white flowers, and there are pollinators all over it, like just like a cloud of pollinators. And then you can see up here, those are the fruits of the devil's walking stick, which the birds love, and I just think it adds such a really pretty look to the woodland. Okay everyone, that is it for today. Those are my fall vegetable gardens so far. They have a long way to go now, and I'm really excited about the harvest that is going to come from these gardens. And yeah, thank you for joining me, and I will see you again next time.